As much as everybody wants to say that the stock market is humming, which it is, since the March lows, it's up 84.5%. But when you compare it to the copper stocks, uranium stocks, the silver juniors, and the gold juniors, you can see that it's been underperforming. The gold juniors are up 109% since the March lows. Silver juniors are up 176%. Uranium stocks are up 200%, and the copper stocks are up 324%. So it's a commodity cycle that we're in right now. It's an inflation play. Now zooming into the copper index, the COPX, you can see that we broke out of this really long channel. It lasted from 2011 until 2020. Since breaking out of the channel, it's been up a good 152%. So that's all you really have to see. Breaking out of this downward trend line starts the commodity cycle. And copper is leading the silver market. Here's the silver juniors again. I've showed this in my last video. Here's an 8-year upper trend line on the SILJ, and we've just broken out of it. Now we've had some false breakouts. But we got rejected from them. This is the first time that we've closed above the trend line. So next week, or this coming week, is going to be very important. We're going to want to see if we've got follow through. Because if we have follow through, then the SILJ could match up with the copper stocks. Here's a graph of the uranium ETF, URA. I've got it on a log chart, but it's been following a decent arc format for over 10 years. And where does that take us? That takes us up to $61. So the projection we have for the URA, if it just continues with this arc, is for it to go up 161% in practically 4 years. Here's a graph of the uranium spot price in the futures market. It's also following a arc format, and I've got a upward resistance line over here. And let's just take a look. We are right butting up against it. In fact, we are wedging between a support trend line from the bottom in 2016 and the upper resistance line. So we're wedging. We're going to make a decision either up or down. If uranium follows copper, it's going to be going up, and it could have an explosive move. In fact, looking at this arc, we should be reaching massive prices at the end of the arc by 2024. So 3 years. This is what the GDXJ looks like as we head into the new week. On my Thursday's video, I showed that the volume was picking up, and it did close the week pretty strong. Now let's zoom out and look at a monthly chart and see how well this month has been. There you go. So we had a very strong move so far this month. We'll see if it continues. But it's been looking good. I mean, we've been in an uptrend since 2016. You wouldn't know that if you followed the mainstream media, but we have been. We've been doing pretty well. Weekly chart. Again, we kept hitting the bottom support level, except here we didn't. That means buyers came in quicker than you would have expected them to. The GDXJ could have gone down to 40 and still maintained this bull flag, but it didn't. It got to 43. Now when we look at the ratio, the GDXJ to the GDX ratio, this is kind of an interesting thing I've noticed here. Here, I'm going to zoom it out. Here, this blue line right here, this vertical blue line, represents the strong 2016 move. And what happened to the ratio of the GDXJ to the GDX? We had a touch of the support level, just as we had at the March lows. We had a strong impulse. Then we had a downward bull flag. And then we went for our big run. In fact, part of that big run. At the beginning of the big run, see the big run started at the blue line. The GDX actually outperformed the GDXJ. And when we look at it over here, we see this big move, bull flag, and we should be making another big move. In fact, the reason this is going to be so much stronger is because we're starting at a much higher level. The GDXJ is 50 now, whereas back in 2016, when this happened, the GDXJ was 17. So, and then it tripled from there. So if it triples from here, the GDXJ would get up to 150, which would match its all-time highs. Let's go and check out the GDX. The reason I want to see this is because we can see that the GDX has actually been making decent moves. It broke out of the channel 2 weeks ago, and it got a confirmation last week. See, the GDXJ, if you look at the GDXJ chart, you're waiting this week for the confirmation. But GDX has already given us confirmation. So in fact, my expectation is the GDX should probably outperform the GDXJ, at least for a little bit, as big money gets involved. See, big money has to get into the GDX, into the stocks that are the majors, right? They can't get into the minor stocks. The reason they can't do that is because they would be altering the market way too much. They have too much money and they would move the price way too much if they played with the small stocks. So they have to play in the big stocks, the Newmont Minings, the Barrick Golds. So here we've got confirmation that the GDX is on its move, on an uptrend, and we're ready for a big move. So good luck out there.